Q17. Pronouns do not refer to an already named noun but act as the subject of a sentence or adjective to another noun. A. Possessive. B. Reflexive. C. Intensive. D. Possessive. The answer is intensive. Intensive pronouns do not refer to an already named noun but act as emphasis in a sentence, often reinforcing the subject. Examples include myself, yourself, and themselves. Q18. In Paradise Lost, who leads Adam and Eve out of paradise? A. God. B. The sun. C. Michael. D. Raphael. The answer is Michael. In Paradise Lost by John Milton, Michael leads Adam and Eve out of paradise. The archangel Michael is sent by God to inform Adam and Eve of their expulsion and guide them out of the Garden of Eden. Q19. The lower rear portion of the left frontal lobe, which is normally responsible for speech production, is called A. Broca's area. B. Autopsy. C. Lesion. D. Angular gyrus. The answer is Broca's area. Broca's area is located in the lower rear portion of the left frontal lobe and is primarily responsible for speech production. Damage to this area can result in Broca's aphasia, a condition that affects the ability to speak fluently. Q20. A word made with initial letter or letters of a phrase and pronounced as word is known as A. Acronym. B. Active. C. Adjunct. D. Affixal phoneme. The answer is acronym. An acronym is a word formed from the initial letters of a phrase and pronounced as a single word, such as NASA, National Aeronautics and Space Administration, or SCUBA, self-contained underwater breathing apparatus. Q21. Which devil advocates a renewal of all-out war against God in Paradise Lost? A. Mammon. B. Moloch. C. Belial. D. Beelzebub. The answer is Moloch. In Paradise Lost, Moloch advocates for a renewal of all-out war against God. Moloch is described as a fierce and warlike devil who argues that open war is the only way to regain their former state, even if it leads to their annihilation. Q22. Pitch movements in spoken utterances that are not related to difference in word meaning is called A. Terminal intonation. B. Intonation. C. Non-terminal intonation. D. Contour intonation. The correct answer is B. Intonation. Intonation refers to the rise and fall in pitch during speech that is not directly related to the meaning of individual words but instead serves other functions, such as signaling emotion, emphasis, or sentence type, e.g. question versus statement. Q23. A term used in linguistics to refer a continuous stretch of language larger than a sentence built within the broad notion in which several different applications may be found is called A. Semantic criteria. B. Discourse. C. Discourse analysis. D. Discursive. The answer is Q24. To what do the four types of supernatural beings correspond in poem The Rape of the Lock? A. Earth, air, fire, and water. B. Spades, hearts, clubs, and diamonds. C. Ace, king, queen, and jack. D. North, south, east, and west. The answer is earth, air, fire, and water. In The Rape of the Lock by Alexander Pope, the four types of supernatural beings, sylphs, gnomes, nymphs, and salamanders, correspond to the four classical elements, air, earth, water, and fire, respectively. Q25 reinflectional categories that usually pertain to verbs, both have to do with time. A. Dative. B. Ergative. C. Tense and aspect. D. Tense on noun. The answer is tense and aspect. Tense and aspect are inflectional categories related to verbs, and both pertain to time. Tense refers to the time of the action, past, present, future, while aspect refers to the nature of the action's timeframe, e.g. whether it is ongoing, completed, or habitual. Q26. At what time do sleepless lovers awake in the poem The Rape of the Lock? A. Dawn. B. Noon. C. Tea time. D. Midnight. The answer is midnight. In The Rape of the Lock, midnight is the time when the sleepless lovers awake. This occurs in the context of the supernatural beings, sylphs, in this case, and the events surrounding the theft of Belinda's lock of hair. Q27, speakers may flout the maxim by exaggerating as in the A. Metaphor, B. Infringing, C. Banter, D. Hyperbole. The answer is hyperbole. Speakers may flout the maxim of quantity or manner by exaggerating, as in hyperbole. Hyperbole involves exaggerated statements or claims not meant to be taken literally, often for emphasis or effect. Q28 is an attempt to summarize the range of attitudes and methods found in the grammatical study this term 20 found with reference to many periods. A. Descriptive grammar, B. Theoretical grammar, C. Comparative grammar, D. Traditional grammar. The answer is descriptive grammar. Descriptive grammar is an attempt to summarize the range of attitudes and methods found in the grammatical study of language, focusing on how language is actually used in various periods and by different speakers, without prescribing rules. Q29, over the course of the novel Wuthering Heights, which characters claim to see Catherine's ghost? A. Heathcliff, Hareton, young Catherine and Joseph. B. Edgar Linton and Heathcliff. C. Joseph and Nellie Dean. D. Lockwood and Heathcliff. The answer is Lockwood and Heathcliff. Lockwood has a dreamlike experience in which he sees her ghost, while Heathcliff insists that he has seen her ghost and is deeply affected by it throughout the novel. Q30, what impulsive action does Maggie take during the visit of her aunts and uncles in the novel Mill on the Floss? A. She falls in mud. B. She eats Tom's dessert. C. She steps on a cake. D. She cuts on her hair. The answer is, she steps on a cake. In Mill on the Floss, Maggie Tulliver impulsively steps on a cake during the visit of her aunts and uncles. This act is a symbol of her emotional turmoil and desire to break free from the constraints placed on her by her family and society. Q31, type of antonym expresses meaning that is relative to the speaker. A degree continuum. The attribute referred to by the antonym exists on a hypothetical scale. A. Complementary, B. Original base, C. Gradable, D. Symmetrical. The answer is gradable. Gradable antonyms express meaning that exists on a degree continuum, where the attribute referred to by the antonym exists on a hypothetical scale. Examples include pairs like hot and cold or big and small, where the degree of the quality can vary. Q32, in poem The Rape of Lock, who is Shock? A. Belinda's horse, B. Belinda's lapdog, C. The Baron's horse, D. The poet's muse. The answer is Belinda's lapdog. In The Rape of the Lock, Shock is the name of Belinda's lapdog. The dog plays a minor yet amusing role in the poem, participating in the comic elements of the story. Q33, in the novel Return of the Native, what was CLYM's occupation in Paris? A. Editor, B. Banker, C. School teacher, D. Diamond merchant. The answer is diamond merchant. In Return of the Native, CLYM Yeobright worked as a diamond merchant in Paris before returning to his home on the Heath. This occupation contrasts with his later desire to become a schoolteacher. Q34, a theory which aims to integrate phonetics and phonology into a single model, providing a feature analysis related to the muscular activity underlying the movement is A. Articulatory analog, B. Articulatory settings, C. Articulatory phonetics, D. Articulatory model. The answer is articulatory model. An articulatory model aims to integrate phonetics and phonology into a single framework, focusing on the feature analysis related to the muscular activity involved in speech production. This model helps explain how sounds are produced by the movement of speech organs. Q35 is a verbal response that is used to describe or comment on things or events in the environment. A. Mands, B. Tact, C. Echoics, D. Interverbals. The answer is tact. A tact is a verbal response used to describe or comment on things or events in the environment. It is a type of operant behavior in behaviorist theory, specifically associated with labeling or identifying objects, actions, or events. Q36, the new critics were A. Psychological critics. B. Feminist critics. C. Structural critics. D. Formalist critics. The answer is formalist critics. The new critics were formalist critics who focused on close reading of the text itself, emphasizing its structure, language, and literary devices rather than considering external factors such as author biography or historical context. They believed that the meaning and value of a work could be found within the text,